welcome. And today we're going to do episode 11 of the podcast. And Nikhil isn't here, but instead we have Meg.
All right.
And so the person who's normally as in the director position is actually going to be here hosting this with me. We have a bunch of questions prepared, but we have two special guests, Antonia and Jalen. Do you guys want to introduce yourself and what team you're a part of? In any
Hi.
order. Yeah.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Antonia. I'm on Team 360. I'm a junior this year, and my role on the team is media, so I'm in charge of things like videos and photography.
And I'm Jalen Shawcross. I am also a junior on Team 360, and I am one of Team 360's electrical leads, which means I wire the robot, do also the pneumatics for the robot, fix the robot when it breaks, and get into arguments with programming.
We love that last one.
Yeah. I don't know. In our team, programming makes like the largest number of students in it, so they're like the majority, but at the same time, I don't know. We all have some. I don't know. It's weird.
There's plenty of arguments between programming and mechanical. They live for that kind of thing. Well, I can introduce myself as well. I guess I'm not really on here that often, but I'm Megnath, or you can call me Meg. I'm from Imagery. I'm one of the co-leads. And yeah, I'm usually the director of the podcast, but today I thought, why not give it a shot and, see what it's all about. I mean, I always listen in, but it's cool to get to be able to interact with you guys here.
So I guess maybe the first thing we want to talk about is how did you guys figure out that you want to actually be a part of the podcast or just join us in on this episode, right? Like I know Antonia contacted me on Instagram, but what was that about, right? Yeah.
Well, the reason why, or how I knew that it would be a really cool opportunity for us to be on the podcast really started way back a while ago when I actually met Aditya on the FRC student panel for ORTOP. And we really clicked along with a lot of other students that we met. And I've also been pretty good at attending the PNW Virtual Pits. And 1899 is very good at advertising the podcast. Like I hear about it at least 3 times like every session, and considering that I go to about 1 to 2 sessions a week, I hear it around like 6 times every time I go that 1899 wants to advertise their podcast. And as I just happen to run into Ditya more often during these meetings, I thought it would be a really good idea to join. And you're very open and welcoming for lots of people to feature on the podcast. So I decided that it would be really great for us to talk with you. And plus, you're an amazing team. And really just talking to anybody from 1899 is a great experience to have.
Well, yeah. Thank you.
That's very flattering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess actually let me ask a question. It's kind of related to how you guys advertising we had at ORTOP or at the PNW meets. So what has your team kind of been doing in order to meet other teams or really collaborate during these times where a lot of the meetings are online? Have you guys been like, for example, I actually started up a Minecraft server a couple like last week just so we can kind of get more people together and just hang out more often. But what are the things that you guys have been doing during the time to meet together?
Jalen, would you like to take this?
Yeah. So a few weeks back, we hosted one of the PNW Virtual Meetings. That was really cool. We did one about mechanical design that was led by our 2 amazing mechanical co-leads. We did another one about mentor roundtable, and then we did a couple of other ones as well. And that was a really good experience getting to be a part of that, since I'd, not done any other real virtual experiences with lots of teams before. It kind of reminded me of the SodaBots workshops that they did last year or 2 years ago that I did as a freshman or sophomore, and really enjoyed those, but in a virtual setting. So seeing that these were being kind of continued spiritually online was really cool.
Yeah. So you guys, just I guess the question, like, did you guys both join as freshmen?
Yeah.
Yes, we both did.
Okay, well that's
Mhm.
now that's always good. I actually joined as a junior. I'm in my senior
Wait,
year now. Yeah.
I have a connection to make. So I know, Antonia, you were in programming before, right? Is that
I
maybe?
was in my
Yeah.
freshman year, yes.
Meg was also in programming last year. Now he's the imagery lead, media lead. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's pretty interesting.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Why did you decide to change or switch between the two?
Well, that's a really funny story, Jalen. I see you laughing.
Yeah.
I tried my hardest in programming,
Yeah.
but I guess after a while it didn't stick, and I was feeling a little bit down, but I decided to stick with robotics anyway because well, the culture and the community here is really amazing.
Hmm.
And over the summer, a few summers back, I had an opportunity to work at, at a Gig Harbor FLL summer camp. And while I was teaching these three little girls who attended how to program, but I loved teaching them, especially since I never even knew how to program in the first place, but here I was teaching other kids how to program. I had my school iPad with me, and I was taking these little pictures and videos, and I went on my little iMovie app and I compiled all of it together, and I showed our general management team, and I guess after a few months when we were starting to roll out the leadership applications, I applied to be co-programming lead, which for anyone who knows me on 360 was honestly really stupid because the only thing I knew how to program were system print lines. I think that's what they're called. I forgot. Please don't blame me for this. And so I sent my application in. And then our lead director, Mrs. Taylor, pulled me aside and she said that she appreciated my application and my interest, but maybe a better fit would be for me would be media. And I said that I would be interested in taking on media on the condition that I would still get to program. But a year and a half later, and I haven't opened GitHub for like a year and a half. But I'm happy where I am right now.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, you have more programming knowledge than I have. Like, I can only Scratch, so you're way ahead of me.
Oh, Scratch.
But yeah, that's an interesting story. Meg, you have something kind of similar.
I mean, okay, it's not. I guess it's not as funny. I actually got into I got into media basically because like during the summer, similarly, we had like the leadership applications and all that, and I remember I think I tried to interview for secretary. I want to say either secretary or vice president, right? To be honest, I came into the interview and I was asked questions, and they were like, how do you think you can improve the club from the secretary position? Yeah, I had no idea. Not gonna lie, I was kind of just like thinking on the fly. I could like barely think of answers. But then weirdly enough, one of the mentors, she knew like I've done photography in the past, for just around the school for yearbook things like that, and she said, would you be interested in imagery, being an imagery lead? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Because really, I wanted to, find, it was my last year, this is my last year in the club, right? I really just wanted to find a way, how can I impact the club the most? And so any leadership position would really give me that. And so, I already had kind of a love for photography. She gave me that opportunity. I'm like, why not? And, I'm still trying to, I'm still trying to, keep in touch with programming. I do love programming. Just I do a lot of that like as a side project kind of thing. But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done as an imagery lead, so I never really get a whole lot of chance to do it during our meets. But it's okay. I still do it, as my side thing. So yeah.
My story is a little bit less exciting. I started on electrical and then I stuck with it.
Yeah, that's all good. It's the same here, kind of business, and then in admin. Tasks are kind of similar, but yeah.
Jalen originally planned to do media.
Yeah, so I did
But-
originally. I've
Interesting.
thought about media a little bit because I looked at electrical and I was like, oh my goodness, I have no clue how to do any of this. I looked at all the subteams and I was like, well, I took a yearbook in 8th grade, but then I decided, people they say that they teach you everything that you need to know.
Yeah. I mean, we say
That's
that on our team too. Really,
that's
freshmen
fair.
don't
Yeah.
really come with much of anything in the beginning.
Gee.
If they do have something like Tamjid, I know you're recording this, but like you don't like I don't mean this in a bad way, but like there's a lot for you guys to learn. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's a part of the experience too. Like I came in as a freshman, I knew nothing about what I was doing. And then I would say throughout ninth grade, I still don't like I wouldn't have understood, but like as I continued into 10th grade, 11th grade, I had a better understanding, and now I'm at the point where I can explain stuff. And that's like the most interesting part of this.
I mean,
What's that?
I was gonna say that I really hope you can explain stuff because you're the president of the club.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be concerning.
I was talking about
Uh,
like business stuff, but yeah.
but yeah, I agree with you, and I came in my junior year. I mean, joining your freshman year, I think there's an entirely different like not struggle, but you're in pressure with it. You're new at the high school first off, and then you're new at a club. Like that's really overwhelming sometimes. And so as a junior, I came in actually. I didn't come in near the start. Like normally the club started around September. I came in November because I had a sports season before that, and so basically for me it was learn as fast as possible. I basically had and I want to give like all my thanks to Noam and actually Delaney as well. Really, they were like the ones who helped me out. If you guys don't know, they're two of our great like best members on the programming team, but for me as a junior, it was all about learn as much as possible and just try to fit in. But I definitely understand your situation.
Yeah. Well, as a freshman, into my freshman year, I thought I was awesome. I thought I knew everything. I thought I was just like this electrical brilliant person. And then the old electrical lead left. So then my sophomore year, myself and one of my other team members became electrical leads. And suddenly it's like, shoot, I have, a freshman or two to explain stuff to. I really only have a passing understanding of how the robot's wired. Like, I would have the first guide to wiring the robot pulled up on my phone while doing it. It was really, truly a disaster. But now I actually know what I'm doing just a little bit more. I can explain what all the parts do, how to connect them together, all of that good stuff. So the hope is that once we get back into the shop, it won't be a train wreck anymore.
So I guess this is more of a question about club culture, but like when you guys join, do you guys kind of have to choose a sub team you're interested in or a sub team you want to work in, or is it really fluid? Like for example, in Saints Robotics, ours is really like, let's say 1 week you're interested in helping out imagery, feel free. And next week you want to work on the robot with mechanical, you can do that as well, right? Or is that for you guys? Is it more like you choose one and you stick with that?
So I guess I can try to explain a little bit how this works. What Team 360 tries to do best is to let everyone try whatever they want to do and do as much as they want to do. So people are free to move around to do whatever they want to do. But just from my perspective, as someone who's been on the team for 3 years, this is the way I usually see it work when people try to choose their sub teams. All freshmen and first year students start out with mechanical, but then one by one, during the off season or during build season, they slowly get kidnapped from the mechanical area and pulled aside to like CAD or electrical or programming, and they pretty much stay there for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I would say that's mostly true.
I do.
I would say that the couple of people who do decide right off the bat, programming is the way for me, or business is the way for me, or whatever, I would say that those people, everybody still learns the basics of mechanical. Everybody still learns, wrenches, pliers, screwdrivers, drill press, chop saw, bandsaw, all of those stuff, just kind of no matter what, because, sometimes your sub team will have slow days and wind up having to help mechanical, who's always busy. Like on electrical, I'd say a decent, 25 to 50% of what I do is just help mechanical, because electrical's really busy during like a 3-day crunch time where you're literally as busy as humanly possible, because mechanical just gave you the robot and they're like, wire this as fast as possible so we can get it to programming, and hope that programming is more than 2 hours to program the robot before a competition. So, but for the first couple weeks of the season, organizing and helping mechanical is a big part of what we do. So everybody learns at least a little bit of mechanical.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, for the most part, freshmen kind of just come in with the knowledge that robotics is robotics is robotics, right? The only thing you're going to do is like mechanical, maybe programming, right? And all of the engineering stuff. But I don't know, there's a lot more to robotics, and I think they start understanding that the more involved they get, right? And obviously I'm not saying that mechanical, like there is no mechanical. There is mechanical. It is robotics, but there's more to it.
Yeah, mechanical and makes up like a third of robotics.
Yeah, exactly.
I do agree that that robotics is more than mechanical, and this is me speaking from a media perspective. And what I usually tell people when they ask me what I do on robotics, I usually say that I do everything that has nothing to do with math or STEM. I just throw all of that out the door, and it's all about art and pictures and music and cool sparks. Well, I filmed the sparks from electrical.
Yeah, I make them.
Usually, if there's sparks coming from electrical, that's usually never a good sign.
Flashback to the time I fried $100 Navex.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's hard to describe. I mean, I remember when we had freshmen come in, it's hard to explain. Like, how can you explain to freshmen who are so excited to look at the robot and explain them why you should join media? And it's a lot about showing them, hey, like, robotics and mechanical and programming is really cool too, but there's an aspect of media that comes in every team, and you like most people don't recognize it until they see the impact of media and what a club would look like without media. Without a media team, you kind of have like clubs that are isolated. You don't have this collaboration piece that I really love about robotics. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I do, Meg, for the freshmen is I kind of just drag them everywhere and take them. Obviously, I haven't done it to every freshman, but I like take them to each of the sub teams. And obviously, I know some freshmen, like you can tell if they're going to stay or not, right? Like if someone declares that they want to be in programming, even if I take them around, they're probably going to stay in programming. But at least they took a look at the rest of the club, and I think that's critical, right? Even if you're just going to stay in mechanical, recognizing that like there is communications and that they're also a part of the team is important.
Yeah,
And
that's something that being on electrical has been great for me, because the way that our lab is set up, when you walk in the doors of the basement of the religion building that we're located in, you've got the big mechanical area, then you walk past a hallway, and then CAD is detached off of that, and then in the back you've got media on one side and then electrical on the other, and then behind that you have programming. And I say media, I mean media, awards, GM, business, all of that. But electrical sharing a space with media, business, awards, all those non-robot people, is really eye-opening to see exactly what they do. And I think that that's something that's really cool, is that you see every aspect of the team because you're kind of in the hub of the shop. So that's just something I thought is cool.
Yeah, I think one of the questions I had, because I think that it's something that I've seen in personally our team and a lot of other teams, is that sometimes you see certain types of people go to certain sub teams, right? Like, I know that I've seen like more male students, right, end up in STEM sub teams, right? And so my question is, how do you guys promote this diversity between your sub teams and make sure that every student feels welcome and it's something to choose and don't feel like they have to leave the sub team, not because of an interest, but because they don't feel welcome there. How do you make sure students feel welcome?
Well, I think one way that it makes students feel welcome is, well, I would say this is more of something that we've started doing this year, but we've started doing things like playing Among Us in breakout rooms. It's really doing some more of the fun, relaxing things and more of the technical things like learning different gears and drills and all of the other mechanical stuff. It's really just spending time with each other in a non-shop or lab feeling sense. And as a person who felt left out freshman year. And the reason why I say I felt left out was because I felt the only thing of value that I contributed to the team was sweeping the iron shavings off the floor. I think what helped me feel comfortable was doing what I love to do. And initially, it was difficult for me to do what I love to do, and what I love to do is all of the art things. I felt like a failure initially because there's such a strong push for girls to go into these STEM fields where they're so vastly underrepresented. But at the end of the day, I just kind of realized within myself that I don't need to do something because I need to represent people like me. I can do something because I love doing whatever I want to do. Yes, I would agree that business awards and GM have been a female dominated sub team or part of the team in the past years. But I've noticed as the years go on, the male versus female divide has been stabilizing itself out. Our business team this year is both led by two boys, and two of my media companions are boys, and our general manager this year is a boy, and we have two mechanical leads who are girls, and we do also have a girl in programming, but maybe Jalen can check me on that
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we've had a lot of awesome girls on the team recently. As she said, we have like two mechanical leads that are girls, and then like a couple of other awesome students on the mechanical team that are also girls. So that's good to see. We also have a girl in programming team. We don't have any on CAD or electrical yet. And our last electrical lead, she was a girl, and so was our previous 2 years ago captain, my freshman year. So it's been a little bit of a rebuilding year in that sense, but we're on the upward trend. Really, the other big divide that I think we see all the band kids, or almost all the band kids, do mechanical. So how are we going to get band kids into
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah. Band kids, huh? I didn't know band kids really flock to robotics like that.
Yeah. I mean,
Band kid right here. I can confirm.
Okay.
We have like 10 band kids in robotics. It's kind of ridiculous.
Huh.
yeah, that's really interesting.
That doesn't sound like a lot,
We
but
have-
there's
we
like
have-
20 active members, so for half of them to be in band, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's excellent. Interesting.
Wow.
I don't know, maybe they help Antonia out, I don't know, in media, making music.
Actually,
Okay.
I think I did pull a band kid aside from mechanical to help me with some music things. So I do employ band kids when I do need them the
Okay.
most.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we don't have like a what do you call it? A group of band kids or anything in our. I mean, we have a couple. Is anybody
Like,
from
there
our
are
team in band?
band students.
Yeah.
Probably a couple, but like it's not like half the band or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
and nothing like that. Huh.
It's just like if you're interested in robotics.
Yeah. Yeah.
A solid 75% of our sophomores come from band. It's kind of ridiculous.
Interesting.
That's fun. Okay.
I have a question for
Go for it.
you, Meg. Yeah. So on 360, I've noticed that a lot of our kids participate in a whole variety of other extracurriculars like football, marine chemistry, band, and so on. Would you say that's the same for your team? Are kids on your team doing a wide variety of other things, or is robotics like their main activity on your team?
So I was actually gonna try and like connect this back to like Meg's situation, and I know Meg's situation kind of good. Like he does football too, in addition to robotics. And he was talking about earlier how during the football season last year, like I believe fall, he isn't able to participate as much in robotics, and I think that's a situation with like the other sports too in our with regards to our school and our team, right? So they're like sometimes it doesn't work out for many people. Like spring also coincides with the robotics competition season, and so in general, I think most people in robotics, if they're invested in robotics, that's like the main thing that they do. Like I am in another club, but I spend the majority of my time, my life in robotics, maybe more than I should be, but that's the reality. And I think that's the situation for most people. I think like in our robotics atmosphere, it does get hard if you're also doing something else. But I'm not saying that it doesn't happen at all. I think it just happens at a lesser rate. I don't
Yeah,
know. Meg,
I
what do
completely agree with you. Like, see, like, as a person who does football, like I cannot personally imagine anybody from the football team other than really me being on the robotics team. There isn't a whole lot of divide, or there isn't a whole lot of people who I can imagine doing both. Um, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. Robotics ends up being kind of like a really it ends up being their main thing just because of the way our team is structured. Like I was mentioning before, people have this flexibility to go from sub team to sub team, so you can reasonably spend all your time after school doing something robotics related, whether it's helping mechanical with like I don't know whatever mechanical does, CAD or whatever. I think wait, is mechanical and CAD together? I forgot.
right now they are.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, it's whether it's like helping mechanical with the CAD work or going to imagery and helping with the podcast, you can actually manage to spend your entire evening doing afternoon doing that. But yeah, now I think I actually get it now.
For those of you listening, that isn't a recommendation. It's just it's the
Yeah,
reality.
yeah. But I think that actually makes a lot of sense because if you're in one sub team, right, for the example you guys are saying, then in that case you're not going to have that feeling that, oh hey, I have a little bit extra time, let me just go to another sub team rather than, hey, let me go join a different club. So maybe that's why you kind of have that change. Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's an interesting question.
Yeah. So I guess
Do you want to?
go ahead.
Yeah. Do you want to
Okay.
move on to your history? I know Jalen, you were talking about how you guys have an interesting history or something like that.
An extensive history.
Yeah, we love to talk
Extensive.
about our history.
So where does it start?
Well, we're actually the oldest sustaining team in the Pacific Northwest District, which is exciting. We were founded in 1999, but we first competed in 2000 with Cooperation First. That year, we actually won like the Wookiee, not Wookiee. I have Star Wars in my head. I'm
You're
wearing
good.
a Star Wars T-shirt and everything. Rookie All-Star Award, or whatever it was called back then. So we actually got to go to nationals at that time, and yeah, it was nationals and not worlds, and that was awesome. Then the next couple of years were a little bit rough. Our 2002 and 2003 robots are widely amongst our team considered to be the two robots that we're least proud of. The 2002 robot, the way that we got it to meet the dimensions was we actually stood it up vertically at the start of the match and then had a little pneumatic to push it down at the start of the match. And every single time, without fail, parts would fly straight across the field. Its only function was to blow itself up. And then in 2003, we decided to paint our robot for the first time. And that was a disaster. That was a really, really, really bad idea. It did not work out well. And the lesson that we've taken from that is if we ever want to try to paint the robot again, we should make sure that we spend like a full off season dedicated to making sure that we know how to paint the robot instead of giving it to a kid after school, telling him, yeah, take this home, have fun, and then coming back the next day and none of the parts fit together anymore.
Wow, that seems like quite the story. There is actually one question I had. So all of your robots have been called Rainmaker with a version number. Why Rainmaker? Is it PNW? That's why? Or
Well,
Antonia, do you remember
I
this?
understand this question,
yeah.
Jalen.
Yeah, go
So,
ahead.
way back when, I think it was probably like the beginning years of our team when we were called the Rainier Roboteers. Like our
Mhm.
name wasn't the Revolution for all 22 years. I think someone just threw out there that we should call our robots Rainmaker, and no one decided to question it or push it. They just went along with it.
I'm
And
99% sure that somebody was Stokely.
oh, well, if I'm wrong, I hope everyone who's listening in here from 360, please don't come after me for being wrong. But if I remember correctly, someone just threw it out there, and it's just stuck ever since. And the number after it, like Rainmaker X, or I think this year it's, I don't know the Roman numeral number for 22, but each Roman numeral is just our year. Like Rainmaker 1 was our first year, and I think Rainmaker 22 would be
Mhm.
this year's robot because it's our 22nd year of being in first.
Mhm.
And that's the history behind Rainmaker. I mean, we live in Washington. Washington makes rain. Rainmaker.
Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, the fact that you're able to stick to it's really cool.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's like through all the years, the fact that you stuck with the name, that means that you guys are really proud of your history. I mean, I guess, right? I can imagine.
But also just having like the version next to it really like, okay, we're team 1899, you guys are team 360, right? But having that number next to it really makes it reflective of how old your team is, like in a good way, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, our robots can now legally drink at competition, so that's exciting.
Oh wait, actually, we were talking. I forgot whether this was a podcast episode or a meeting. I think our team turned 16 this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, six. I believe it's 16.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, and we were like, oh wait, our team can legally get a driver's permit right now. So that's funny how your team can drink, but we can drive. Let's don't combine the two.
Yeah, mix them together.
But yeah, I mean, our team's older than some of the freshmen, I would think. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
For sure. I can imagine that. But I mean, sure. If you want to talk about like our robot naming history, I mean,
Actually,
yeah,
even before that, Jalen and Antonia, how did you guys know that much about it? Like, as I'm becoming an upperclassman, I want to know how I can tell like the stories of our club, even though I definitely don't know everything. And the podcast is a way to do some of it, but it doesn't do everything, right? So I was wondering, how did you guys know that much about like your history?
Well, we have dedicated Zoom meetings. Like, we would actually plan in advance to talk about 360 history. And I think also a reason why we've been able to retain so many of our stories and our history is because one of our mentors, Mr. Roush, has been the beginning of our team. And one of our mechanical mentors, Jake, is very passionate about 360, and he's been so great at retaining every single bit of 360 culture, and it's really one of his strengths to retell these stories and to keep 360's past alive in that sense. And just listening to Jake tell these stories of our team is really inspiring, and in a way it's kind of why I want to remember as much as I can about 360, because well, 360 is a big part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know even long after I graduated, I still want to keep it with me because it's just been such a big part of the reason why I am the way I am today. I don't know, it just really has a special place in my heart. 360 history.
Yeah, we're very passionate about retaining our history. Every year we have at least one of the founding mentors come in and talk to us about our history, like their early years, as well as we'll usually have like Jake or one of the other mentors talk to us about the more recent years. One of our team's favorite people to come in and talk to us is Eric Stokely. He won the Woody Flowers Award at Worlds in 2016, and he was one of the beginning mentors on our team. I think he came around on the third year and stuck around till year 15, I think. He left after Stronghold. So, but he still is, you can still talk to him at competitions, and he'll come in and he'll talk to us about our history. I'd say rely. I think every single year that I've been on the team, he's done that. We also have Kevin Ross. He's now, I think, the president of First WA. He was one of the other very beginning founding mentors, and he'll also sometimes talk to us about where we've been, how far we've come, and that's really fun. It's always a lot of fun to hear from them, and really gives us a lot more knowledge every single time. Every time I learn something new.
That's so cool because we had, I don't know if you guys know, I feel like you might, but we had Kevin Ross as one of our guests on the podcast a couple episodes ago, and I was going to ask you guys, did Kevin Ross play a big impact on your club? And obviously he did, because he mentioned he helped start up a lot of the clubs when he co-founded or founded First Washington. So that's, I don't know, I like the idea of being proud of your history, and I've definitely been down a good number of rabbit holes where I've just searched up as much as I can about Saints robotics history and watched old matches, looked at old robots, and just it's so cool that I'm contributing to something that I know will stand the test of time. So
Yeah, and having those meetings at the beginning or wherever where you just explain the history, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just dedicating meetings to that. Yeah, that's fascinating. We might implement it. I'll think about it. But yeah, I like the idea. Anyways, Meg, I did cut you off. What was the question you were asking earlier?
I don't remember.
We definitely okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Honestly, that's just getting to hear about you, like, how proud you guys are about your history. That's all I needed to hear. Really, I love that.
I think the question you might have asked earlier was how Kevin Ross impacted 360 as a team, and something about Kevin Ross and 360. And
Yeah.
I will say that Kevin Ross definitely had a big impact as one of our first mentors. Obviously, the team wouldn't be here without him. And I think something else that really proves how much Kevin Ross impacts 360 is how how often he will praise us for how much we've contributed to First over the years. I remember emailing Kevin Ross or staying after a PNW Virtual Meeting one time, asking him if he could film a short intro for a video I was planning on making for 360. I just wanted it to be short, like I really just wanted his face in the video. But he went out of his way to make a nearly 2-minute long video just pouring his heart out about how much he loves 360. And I would just say his like steadfast support impacts 360 in a way that it just gives us like the spirit to keep going on and just to exist, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah, that's really cool.
really quite. I mean, he's probably one of the coolest mentors I ever heard of. I mean, wait, sure,
He's also a really cool person in general too.
were you on that episode where we interviewed him?
No,
Uh,
I listened to it.
yeah, but I remember we went over his history in poker. What a guy!
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like his history is just fascinating to me. But the fact that he's one of your mentors is even better.
He should have like a master class where he teaches us how to play poker. Maybe not. Okay.
Okay.
I've always wanted to play, but okay, yeah.
Okay.
Not professionally, to be clear, but yeah.
That's fair. I guess one of the related questions I was going to ask is there any, or are there any special traditions you've kind of held on to over the years, other than your robots' names or your robot names?
Antonio, would you like to share one, and then I'll share another one?
Okay. I think, well, one of my personal favorite traditions is the little dance that we do before the competition match starts. Oh gosh, I know you're probably not recording like the visual, so I can't like physically demonstrate to you what
No, we are
do before each
we're recording the meeting
match
as well,
starts.
so
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, gosh, I'm connected to the computer with a
Oh,
headset.
don't worry.
But what
You
we'll
don't have to
do?
do it if you don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before the curtain goes down over the glass on the field, we'll wave, and then they'll duck down and keep waving to us until the cloth fully covers the glass on the field. And I guess before we even do that, when the MC calls out 360, the revolution, the drive team will spin around in a circle and bow.
Oh, that's really
because
cool.
we're the revolution, like circles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hi.
It's really cool.
Maybe Jalen can explain a little bit more about
we do a turn and bow.
Circles.
That's not the tradition I was thinking of in my head, so I'm really glad that you didn't steal the one I was thinking of. But the one I was thinking of was our bag and tag, which of course no longer exists anymore, unfortunately. But despite that, we still kind of do the same tradition. We still want to have the robot done by that time. But right before what would be bag and tag, we're a Catholic school, so we actually have one of the Jesuit priests come and fling holy water on the robot and bless the robot, and that's really cool. We love to do that. And then afterwards, we have sparkling cider, and we each usually have 2 pieces of pie, because 2 pie. So that's a lot of fun.
Wow.
That's a really cool.
Yeah.
These are also great. Wow. Yeah, in terms of like our competition dance, we don't have anything. I know, like,
we have the chant. You can't beat that chant.
Okay, true, but like a dance is still
A dance has benefits, but I forgot our chant right now. But we had this chant that honestly, like, every team looks at us for, and honest personally, I'm never embarrassed just because I love it. I love the energy that it gives our drivers, and I just
Did you just say you forgot it?
Yeah, I did, because I haven't said it in so long. Sorry.
It's the what time is it?
Yeah. My bad. Yeah, you said that first part. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like what time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. Any dogs in the house? Woof woof. Any dogs in the house? Woof woof. And it sings on 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's like a call and what do you call it? Like a call and then sound back or whatever you want to call it. Thing. And so it's really cool. But
but that bag day tradition is so cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Wait, you said holy water, right? So any concerns with water and electronics by any chance?
So as the electrical lead, this is something that gives me like a minor heart attack every year.
It makes sense.
But we put the whole robot in a plastic bag.
Okay.
So
So
and that's kind of fun because for all practical intents and purposes, there's still a bag and tag because we still put the robot in a bag and cover up all the electronics and everything. So you still kind of have that just a little bit, which is kind of fun and exciting. So.
Actually, I know you said earlier that you didn't have any traditions on your team, but I listened to a few of your episodes a while back, and I heard that like one of the things that you guys usually do before you start meetings is some of the older kids on the team would say robotics assemble.
Right.
And that's
yeah.
Came to be.
We definitely do have traditions. It's just us. In terms of like the dancing stuff, we don't have anything. Or like, I don't know, the holy water stuff. Nothing like that. But yeah, to start off the meetings, we would normally say like robotics assemble because like for the context or like we have one entrance, but when everyone enters, they're like all over the place. And to get them into the main center, we start off by saying robotics assemble. In the virtual environment, that's not really needed. Everybody's there. There's no other location, but that's like the thinking behind that.
I mean, can I just say, like, when I came in my junior year and this is already when people were used to robotics assemble, so most people didn't question it. And I heard you guys shouting robotics assemble for the first time. I legitimately thought, like, why are they shouting robotics assemble at the start of every goddamn meeting? It's so loud. And the space is one big room, so it kind of echoes a little too, right? And I was like, every time they gotta do it. But now, I mean, obviously now I love it because it's just who our team is. But I remember when I first came in, I was like, what is like why?
I could see some people maybe getting like embarrassed or obnoxious about it, but yeah,
That's not
I think
embarrassing.
that's the
Yeah.
logistical thinking about it, like trying to get everybody in the center. But we definitely do have traditions, but still, I think your guys' ones are pretty fascinating.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank
Oh
you.
wait, how about like one of the traditions that's probably lasted the longest? Our tradition of using wooden robots. You want to talk about that?
Oh,
Well,
please talk about that.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, things are transitioning as we've had new leadership and like new leads, right? We've been transitioning into a more metal-based robot, but we try and keep the wood spirit, right? I believe in the very first competitions, again, I'm not sure which years, but we've always used wood because, as I've heard, it's cheaper, but then it just kind of just became something we always used. And like our pit, like if you take a look at our pit, we've got a bunch of, I'm not sure what they're called, Meg, triangles. We call them triangles, but they're wooden triangles, and it's been catted out and it's everywhere. So if you take a look at our pit, it's all wood. Our robot still has some wood
Oh.
aesthetics, right?
Hmm.
Do you know what it's called for the pits?
The Oh, you're talking about like yeah. So the walls of our pits. It's actually like all 3D printed, right? I think
Yeah, no,
it
no, not
not
3D
trade.
printed.
I mean
It's padded.
laser
It's wood.
engraved. Yeah, laser
Yeah,
engraved.
yeah,
And so they're like massive octagons, but they're like massive, just like wooden octagons with like various different designs and stuff on them. And yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah. And then like our binders, when we print them, like the entrepreneurship binder, which we call the business plan, and then like team information, we have like a wooden casing that we created, I believe last year or the year before that. And I don't know, it's really cool. Making them was extremely difficult, but
Mhm.
beyond that, yeah, we just keep to the wood aesthetic. It's just something we do. But yeah, like it's slowly transitioning into metal, but hopefully there's some aspect of wood that stays.
And yeah, I
Correct me.
good.
Oh, was it your team a couple of years back that laser printed on little wood buttons? Did you guys
Yeah,
have the wood buttons
I don't
a
have
couple of years
any near
back?
me, but we have wood pins or buttons every year. Or I'm
Yeah.
not as long as I've been in the club.
Hmm.
But we print those out. That's also a hassle to make since we have to like, what's it, hot glue gun? Use a hot glue gun and like put the pin backs on it. It takes some time, but yeah, we do laser print those. So that's one wood element too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple things. For you,
Well, I,
I
I
haven't.
think that's
I don't know if I have any of your guys' pins, but how do you guys construct those? This is a specific question, but
Yeah, Antonia, you take this one.
Well, as someone who loves the button making process, uh, I took a little bit of an unorthodox approach to this.
mm,
To design the button, I went on an app called Notability, which is a note taking app, and I drew the design there.
okay.
In the past, we've used um, Adobe Photoshop and things like that. Then
Hmm.
I opened up my little um, iPad Pages app. I take a screenshot of the button. I put the screenshot of the picture of the button in Pages, then I size it down, and then I print it out. We use a button cutter to cut out the little circle, and then we use a piece of polymer plastic to cover the bun, which then
Mhm.
goes on a small piece of metal. And we use this fancy little button making machine that
Mm.
really presses everything down. And there we have it. We have a shiny button.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
want to see the button machine. You'll have to show me after, but
Yeah. Right.
we just exploitation of freshmen. That's
Yes,
all we
thank
do.
you.
Yeah, a
Oh
lot
my
of
goodness.
our work is, I guess, done by fresh. Actually, I love that. I like how we include freshmen. Sometimes in a way to get away from work, but sometimes because we really want to encourage freshmen to do
Yeah.
things that are unique. So, um, I haven't really made any buttons this year yet. It's
Eventually one day, but like to make like 300, you have to hot glue gun and then you have to like stick them together. It takes a while. It takes time. But yeah. I guess maybe like one of the last questions we go through. Are there any projects you guys are working on right now, like beyond the competition? I know kickoff is going to happen soon, January 9th, I believe. But yeah, are there any projects you guys have been working on online virtually?
Well,
Jalen, do you want to start
Yeah.
us off?
Mechanical has been working on a turret, which is really exciting. As well as what, Antonio? Do you know something else that's popping? I know Mechanical's turret, and I know there's something else that's really big, but I can't remember it.
Well, I can speak to
We've been doing grants
like
and
the
stuff as well.
business and media side of things. I know for media, what I've been doing is I'm in the process of trying to create a video that showcases the 2019, or I'm sorry, the 2019-2020 highlights of the season, plus the 2020 leadership. Now I might have to rework a little bit how that works because it is kind of an odd video, but I'm making a video of sorts. I know what the business team is doing right now is they're working on a honey baked ham fundraiser. So I will have to look a little more into that, but we are selling honey baked hams to fundraise for our team, and I wish I could speak a little more about it because it would be great promotion for our fundraiser. So I'm so sorry, Mark and Ben. But yes, we are selling honey baked hams.
Mm-hmm.
And for the general management side of our team, they have been working on revamping our website. There's a lot of aspects to reworking the website, I guess, from a media standpoint. I guess you could use some fun little, like, a fun new update on pictures and colors and things. And so, but I thought the website that we have right now already wasn't bad, but maybe if Jalen knows a little bit more about the website, he can talk about how much people don't like our website. I like it though. Jalen, do you want to talk about the website?
Yeah, so our website, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but it's not the most friendly to use, and it is bright blue and orange, which some people complain about being really jarring, which is definitely a valid point. So general manager and other people are working on trying to make it a little bit more friendly to the eye and such like that, which is really exciting.
This
Yeah,
isn't a bad
yeah. I
website.
saw your website. It's fine, honestly. Like, yeah, maybe can use a bit of a touch up, but honestly, like, it looks great. I was just gonna talk about something like that's on your website. So you guys have a blog on your website. That I believe last year you guys posted to, and one of the interesting projects I saw on there was that your scouting team was creating a website to have like scouting information and all that. So I was wondering if that's still a project that you guys are working on, or is that kind of something that's been delayed because of COVID?
I do believe that scouting is working on some type of thing. I just know a while back there were a little bit of like things to work on, so I have to check in with that. But I think that is still an ongoing project. Yes,
Okay.
we have a new scouting lead this year who's a sophomore, and her name is Lily,
Mm-hmm.
and she has been left with the great big task that is scouting. But I'm sure she's going to do a wonderful job with whatever our last scouting lead, John, left behind, whether that be like a website or an app
Mm-hmm.
or whatever they were doing last year.
Yep, couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I don't remember. I think our programming team was planning to make some kind of scouting app. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shrey.
I know that was planned. I don't know what
Okay.
happened beyond that. I
Okay.
know there was some discussion. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
That's honestly, yeah. It's been really weird. Sometimes like sub teams feel like we have enough time to get something done, but then when you meet online, getting everyone engaged takes a bit of time at the start of every meeting. So then you end up having less time than you thought you'd have. But honestly, I'm excited to see what happens with this upcoming year. personally, it sucks a little for me. It's my senior year and it's all online. I was really hoping to spend more time with the team as a senior, but it's okay. I'll see what I can do to make the most of it. But yeah, is there anything else you guys want to kind of just like shout out there on the podcast? Yeah, before we wrap up.
Consider buying our honey baked hams. You can go to our
Okay.
website, and I'm pretty sure there's a link somewhere to buy honey baked hams.
Yeah, you can provide us with the links and we'll attach it. Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
That's something that I think that 360 has taught all of us. At least all the members who stuck around decently long, is how to shamelessly ask for money.
I mean, it's
Oh,
fine.
it's
I think
When you're like pushing the cart,
that.
selling
Like, here's
cookies
Nick,
and
you want to plug the
conferences.
merch?
Oh, so I can't be Nikhil. I mean, sorry, Nikhil does his best, but
Yeah.
every episode of the podcast, he manages to plug the
He
merch.
just
That's
looks
great.
at the camera and says, "Buy the merch" or something like
Buy
that.
the merch. Go to saintsrobotics.com. It's like the link up top. It'll be in like a little, I think, was it green box, blue box, something like that.
It's blue now, yeah.
Blue in box now. And buy our merch. You can get Woody Flower leggings as well, I think.
If you want, yeah. You can get Woody Flower socks.
Woody Flower socks. We have, actually, I love some of the designs of the sweatshirts on there.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I remember I messaged Aditya on Instagram, like saying how much I loved your guys' merch. It was great. Like props to your designers. Like their merch is like really good.
I wish I could take the credit for that, but I quite honestly can't. Yeah. It was Simon, I believe.
Simon, my freshman year, he was a senior.
Probably one of the best imagery leads we've had in this club. He designed the website too.
He was actually a marketing lead, which
oh really?
I'll explain later, but it's really confusing. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, good.
Yeah. Oh, I was just saying, like, we should definitely make merch for like this podcast. I think that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's something I'll have to talk to Meg and the imagery team about. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Well, thank you so much for letting us talk with you today. I had an amazing time.
Yeah, me too. It's always a blast to be able to talk about FIRST with other like-minded people. So thank you guys for letting us on.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for reaching out to us. It's definitely interesting to see other perspectives, what other teams are doing and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually really nice because whenever I get an email, I actually get really excited because it's like, another episode idea, and I'm always looking for those. I know I was a little, I think a little bit of time between each of my responses, partially because it's an email account I don't check too often. But yeah, thanks for keeping up with that and just getting back to me every time. So okay, yeah, that's the end of it. I think we usually like to end with we do 3, 2, 1 or do we do
let's
1,
do 3, 2, 1. Yeah, let's do 3, 2, 1 robotics break.
Yeah, so
it's not. Yeah,
that's how we enter. That's how we used to enter meetings in person, and that's how we end the podcast these days. So, yeah, when you're ready, Shrey, go ahead and lead us.
All right, let's go for it. 3, 2, 1.
Robotics
break.
That was okay.